Thank you all. Hi, everybody. I'm Jennie Chipperulo. Most people call me Jennie Chip. That just kind of stuck ever since I taught first grade a bunch of years ago. It's much easier to get out. So welcome. And I think whenever I can, I just like to start off with gratitude. So thank you, Devin, and for that introduction, Tony for that introduction, Andrea, all of you for being here, and NOFA New Jersey for hosting this event tonight. We know that NOFA New Jersey works tirelessly to support and advocate for organic farming and food systems throughout the state. And their enthusiasm in my project at Lionheart Farm is just another way that they're showing their commitment to bringing all types of folks into the conversation. They've also made tonight's event and the opportunity, along with Martenette Farms, that I'm going to talk about soon, possible. So huge thank you to Devin and to NOFA for your ongoing support. And also, I know that Tony just introduced himself. Andrea is also here. Andrea and Tony Canette of Martenette Farms they deserve equal amount of thanks for their openness and generosity in really giving our Lionheart program the jumpstart it needs this fall, which we'll be talking about more in a bit. So thank you both. And thank each of you for being here and for your interest in learning more about Lionheart Farm. You know, Zoom is a great way to connect, especially the last few years, but I'm definitely a people person. So I really look forward to meeting you all in person someday, and say hi to me when you see me. I know there's some familiar faces, but reach out to me and love to get to know each one of you. So as we go along tonight, as Devin said, you know, feel free to use the chat feature. We'll have time to answer questions at the end. I'll try and hold them to the end and kind of walk through my presentation, my conversation. Hopefully that will answer a lot of your questions along the way. And I think we have a mixture of folks here, some who are maybe just curious about what Lionheart Farm is and hopes to be, and some of you who might be interested in working with us this fall at Martenette Farm. So to each of you, thank you all for joining us tonight, and let's get started. So I'm going to share my screen. Let's see here. And hopefully, let me move things around here. Hopefully everybody can see this. And can everyone see this, Devin? Hopefully everything's good. Okay, perfect. Well, thank you. So folks, you're here to learn more about Lionheart Farm, and you're also going to learn a little bit more about me, but really to get to know Lionheart Farm, we need to back up a little bit. And I really wouldn't be here right now talking to you about this project we're working on at Lionheart without talking about my brother Andrew. So let me bring up a picture of him here. He and I at the beach a couple weeks ago. He's really important to this mission and vision. So right now I think he's getting ready to watch the Yankees Red Sox game. Otherwise he would be on this with us. He's a big fan, but he is really the reason I'm connected to this work and to this mission and vision. Andrew, my younger brother, is a 30-year childhood cancer survivor, and he is my hero. Now, all these years later, his life is affected by several disabilities, cognitive, physical, developmental disabilities due to his surgery and many years of treatment. But most of my path in life that I've been on and the work I'm involved with now at Lionheart Farm is really in tribute to him, his strength, his struggles, his bravery, and his community. So that strength, that resilience, that bravery in the face of struggle, particularly for people whose lives are affected by disability, is why I've named my organization Lionheart, that strength. My brother and those I've worked alongside in the years have taught me and continue to teach me every day about courage and grace and joy, and I'm here to do what I can for them. So I'm a big sister first, and everything else comes after that. So I myself have been an educator for almost 20 years. The first decade really as a teacher in the classroom, and the second decade as a school administrator, specifically focusing on curriculum. And I was a middle school director. I started and founded and ran a middle school in San Francisco. So bringing people together and developing inclusive, really purpose-filled programming is sort of what I'm all about. So once a teacher, always a teacher, they say, I think. I recently, though, settled back in my hometown in Bernardsville, New Jersey, and after almost a decade in California. And I have really fully committed myself to developing Lionheart Farm, an education center. I also work for my county's therapeutic recreation department and have for years before I moved to California and once I returned, where I assist in running all sorts of fun programs for teens and adults who are intellectually and developmentally disabled. So that's a little bit about me. But really the last few months and really how I came to know NOFA New Jersey. I kind of walked through a business class with NOFA New Jersey and kind of exploring my dream of running a small care farm in the state. And, you know, you all have come here tonight and perhaps many of you know, are familiar with the term care farming or a care farm. But for those of us who don't, I would love to give a little more definition and context to what a care farm is and the type of work that we do. So the last few months, I've really made it my mission to explore as many care farms and visit as many care farms in New Jersey and the Mid-Atlantic area and see what they're all about. There's different care farms that are serving different populations. There are some care farms that are focused on supporting the senior community. There are some care farms that are supporting veterans and others supporting those who are formerly incarcerated. My care farm will specifically support those who are affected by intellectual and developmental disabilities. But my friends and mentors who I've learned from the most are from Red Wiggler Community Farm. They are down in Maryland. I really encourage you all to look them up. They have been running a care farm for this community for more than 25 years and are doing incredible work around putting together a care farm network where they're keeping everybody connected and everybody supported. And I'd love to allow them to share a few minutes of what a care farm is and what it can look like. And they've created a video that I'm going to play now. So hopefully you'll all be able to hear it. And I'll share it now.
Thank you.
The opportunities on a care farm for people with intellectual and developmental disabilities are pretty numerous. Folks that we work with, they want to have the same things we do. They want to have friends, they want to have a job, and we try to provide that. Another thing I think is equally important is we provide a welcoming community for people who are too often isolated from society. That's what care farming is about. It's caring for two things simultaneously, right? We're caring for these wonderful plants that provide sustenance for us, and we're also caring for these individuals.
Every single job that I've done made me feel proud of myself.
Care farming is great because it's an opportunity for people to come together and work, learn, and grow together. Care farming provides an opportunity for people with all different personalities and comfort levels feel welcome and feel like they're needed and working together to help feed the community, feed themselves, and really do a great job on the farm.
I am a farmer, a great farmer. Been doing it for 5.9 years. The thing is, having a job is a really great experience. Being on the farm helped me be more positive.
I think care farming provides an opportunity for him to work somewhere almost independently, outside in a healthy atmosphere, and have tangible results that he can be proud of.
What we've seen as a lot of the benefits of care farming is that our participants get the ability to help someone else. They're often helped in their lives through school and at home, but this is the opportunity for them to care for someone else. They really get a lot of feedback from the horses. They get excited when they show up for work. They get very excited as we get the hay off the truck, as we get the feed bags ready. So there's a lot of interaction between our horses and our participants, and they very much feel what they're doing has real purpose.
When I groom Lark every morning, it makes me feel happy.
I would define the work of social care farming as an agricultural practice that values the process as much as the product. And at Blossom, we believe that social care farming provides therapeutic intervention for vulnerable and marginalized populations by providing access to meaningful work, connection to nature, and connection to community. So the message that we really want to promote is not just that we have this beautiful locally grown organic product, but that just because someone has a disability, it doesn't mean they don't have something beautiful to contribute to the world. And it allows everyone in our community an opportunity to be seen, to feel like they are not invisible, that they are valued and appreciated and honored and celebrated. And everybody needs a moment to feel that in their life.
All right, so hopefully that helps answer a little bit more about what is care farming more generally. It's really a term that is more popularized kind of in the UK and Europe. There are lots and lots of care farms across the way. And there are care farms here doing all kinds of work in all kinds of places and with very similar missions and visions to our own. But in terms of all that work and kind of the quest that we at Lionheart have gone on the last 6 months or so to learn as much as we can about the work at different care farms has really helped to clarify and refine our own mission and vision. Before kind of diving into the specifics about Lionheart and our mission and goals, I do want to just take a second to acknowledge all the work of all the existing organizations that are working hard each and every day to support the community of intellectually and developmentally disabled folks in the state and beyond. I know there's some folks on this call tonight that are listening in that do that important work every day. So I really want to thank you all for all that you contribute out there and keep doing that great work. Lionheart, our specific mission is to create a community farm and education center where people of all abilities come to connect, work, and learn from each other and the land. And our nonprofit care farm goals, in no particular order, are really to provide meaningful employment to individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities, to teach important life, social, and vocational skills to the employees in our care, to establish an inclusive community farm where intellectually and developmentally disabled people are seen as capable, skillful employees and leaders and given that opportunity, to run educational workshops, farm tours, community events, all tied to the seasonality of the farm, and to grow healthy produce following organic and sustainable farming practices to donate in and around our community. So having a meaningful job and completing meaningful work every day is important for all of us. Having and being connected to a community that understands and supports us is important to all of us. Being a contributor in that community and having opportunities to give back is important to all of us, particularly for those who are affected by disability, who often are cared for most of their lives. Giving back is hugely empowering, as we all know. Growing, eating, and sharing healthy food grown in a therapeutic environment is important to all of us, whether we are growing that food directly or supporting those who do, as is understanding our food systems and where that food comes from. Those are all really important to us. So what I'd like to do, though, really is to focus on a few important statistics, particularly in our state and in our surrounding counties, because our most important goal really and mission is to provide meaningful employment to individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities. So if we're looking at some facts and figures from our state and our nation, these are some that I think are really, really stand out, really impactful and important to look at. So these come from the US Census and the US Bureau of Labor Statistics. So in 2021, 80% of Americans with a disability were unemployed, That's 8 out of 10 Americans with a disability were unemployed, compared to 3 out of 10 Americans without a disability. 79% of unemployed individuals with disabilities reported that their own disability was the main barrier to their employment. So not lack of access to an opportunity for employment, or not lack of transportation, but simply having a disability being the biggest hurdle to their employment. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, the CDC, reports that 10.8% of Americans live with a cognitive disability. And in New Jersey here, 1.4 million residents are affected by disability, which is about 21%. So just using some of these foundational statistics, and all these statistics are really made up by many, many people that are affected, and we need to do better to champion their work and their contributions. That's really a helpful foundation for our work at Lionheart. So looking more specifically into some of those numbers by county here in New Jersey, and this is definitely not representative of the more than 20 counties in our state, but in our surrounding areas, particularly in central and northern New Jersey. Right here in my home, Somerset County, there are more than 20,000 adults under the age of 65 with a disability that are currently unemployed. And we can see the numbers in Hunterdon County, Mercer, Morris, Warren, Middlesex, and Union. So each number is a person with dreams and with ambitions for doing great, meaningful work. And any way that we at Lionheart can work towards reducing these numbers, these unemployment numbers, is really what our chief and main mission is. In terms of our long-term goals, as we look out into the future, we have many hopes and dreams, but these are really some of our biggest goals. So we're really early in our journey. Our journey only started less than a year ago, and we have some wonderful opportunities at Martenette Farms that we're so grateful for. Looking out into the future, we are really hoping to locate and develop our own farm site in Somerset, Hunterdon, or Mercer counties. We will be providing year-round employment and programming to adults with intellectual and developmental disabilities. We will be offering 100% fresh food donation, that model to provide fresh produce to food banks, group homes, etc. And to really formally establishing ourselves as a 501c3 nonprofit charitable organization. I'm sure as NOFA in New Jersey knows that that work doesn't happen overnight. None of this work happens overnight. And we're at the beginning of our journey, and we're continuing to make progress on each of these big picture goals every day. But in terms of near future and the amazing opportunity we have this fall that Tony mentioned, and Andrea's on the call here as well, at Martenette Farms, we're just so grateful for their generosity and their openness to having us start some of our programming at their farms. I hope they don't mind that I have borrowed this photograph of all the wonderful produce and vegetables and flowers and things that they grow on their farm. I borrowed it right from their website. So, you know, Andrea is the veteran lead farmer at Martenette, and we're really thrilled to learn a lot from her through the projects we'll be working on their farm. So please check them out either on their website, which I've listed at the bottom there, martenettefarms.com, or go visit them in person at Duke Farms, which I try and do every Sunday, they have a wonderful selection of organic produce that they offer, and they're just awesome people to support. So we're really excited to launch the Lionheart program as a pilot at Martenette Farms starting very, very soon. So just to talk more specifically about what our pilot will look like, we're going to dive into the next 2 slides. So in terms of our program, Martenette Farms is located in Hillsborough in Somerset County. So nearby for many of us here in Central Jersey. Lionheart will be running programming on Martenette Farms under the kind of tutelage and guidance of some of the big farm projects that Andrea has. But Lionheart will be paying interested participants as employees, $13 an hour to start. Plus, we're including a $2, what I'm calling a healthy belly stipend towards buying fresh produce. And each worker will be paid each shift. And we'll have an opportunity frequently, perhaps every shift, to turn around and purchase using their stipend some of what's growing right then and there that week on Andrea's farm, which we're really grateful for having that opportunity. Our working days at Martenette will be Wednesday mornings, starting as soon as September 28th, if we have the interest and can fill as many folks as we'd like to get started. We will start as soon as we possibly can in a few weeks. And this will continue in an ongoing way throughout the fall season. We'll try and have a minimum of 6 weeks into the season, but we're looking out into the future and seeing what this partnership can possibly become through the winter and possibly next spring. Our farm shift at Martenette will be from 9 a.m. until 12 p.m. We'll have multiple rests and education breaks built into the schedule. What I mean by that is, it's important to rest, and we're learning new skills, we're learning new things. We need to give it some time to sink in. So during our breaks, we'll kind of re-energize, to have a snack break. We may be learning a little bit more about some specific tools that we need to use on the project for that day, or perhaps we're learning what we're planting and what Andrea is harvesting that week. So opportunities to learn constantly will be happening. Certainly access to shade, water, restroom. We ask you to kind of bring your own snack if you're interested in working with us. And for anyone who is going to be signing on with us, we are going to have our very first day will be an orientation day to really just get acclimated to the farm. So we get to know you get to know us, we get to know what you're interested in, what you're not interested in on the farm. Those are all really important pieces, and kind of getting to know each other and starting our work together. And beyond working at Martenette and those working days, Lionheart will be looking to offer offsite visits, optional offsite visits, kind of scheduled to other farms as extension trips throughout the season. So opportunities to visit hydroponic farm, a flower farm, dairy farm, perhaps a livestock farm, etc. Just so we get more understanding of what farmers' lives are like and what farming looks like in all different ways. And a wonderful perk that NOFA New Jersey has generously extended to us is that everyone who is working with us at Martenette Farms will be granted an annual individual membership, which is a more than $40 value. I am a member of NOFA and I use that membership to the max, which will really afford you the opportunity to have discounted entry to lots of great NOFA events, as well as discounts on buying seeds and supplies and just access to the wonderful, rich resources through NOFA. So because I'm a teacher and really helping people to learn as much as they can and grow and support them along the way and in their journey is very important to me. I want to give you some examples in terms of some of our sample tasks and skills. Now, some of those categories might be planting, harvesting, post-harvest work, field maintenance work, work in the greenhouse or hoop houses, learning all about all kinds of tools that you would use in farming, as well as vocational social skills. So giving you some examples, and I've really worked hard with Red Wiggler Community Farm down in Maryland. Because they've been doing this for 25 years, they have really worked hard to share with people like me and those at Lionheart to really teach us how to match each worker with an appropriate skill that feels just right for them, as well as really interest them for the short and the long term. So some examples in terms of planting that we might include, perhaps at Martenette or in our future site. If we're planting, we might be planting seeds, we might be planting transplants, watering plants, spacing plants. I'm going to hop around a little bit. In terms of harvesting, that might include cutting greens or bunching and counting or weighing. In terms of greenhouse work, that might mean soil preparation, seeding the soil, watering and potting. Post-harvest skills might include washing or bagging produce, as well as labeling and sorting. Vocational social skills, so thinking down the road when we perhaps hopefully have our own site, might provide opportunities to be a tour guide or to really host and lead interactions with visitors, but also talking about the skills we will learn while interacting with our coworkers, but also skills in terms of attendance and punctuality and following directions and all those important pieces to being a social person connected to your coworkers and working together towards common goal every day on the farm. So after being really introduced to the variety of these skills, the workers will be introduced to each of these categories. We will sit down and have individual conversations with each worker to see what tasks they'd like to really focus on and continue developing over their time and develop those skills from there. So we're constantly working towards greater independence. In terms of that skill development, again, we're focusing on growth. So we will be equally introducing everyone to the same level of skill in the beginning, but working towards greater independence and eventually leadership opportunities to really turnkey those skills and showing the rest of the workers and perhaps visitors how much you've learned along the way. So I think that I have probably talked quite a bit about some of the specifics. And I really want to be able to give enough time to any questions that come up or anyone that might be interested. So that is really just a quick, kind of overview in terms of Lionheart Farm, our mission, our vision, our long-term goals, but also our wonderful short-term, near future opportunities to get started with our programming at Martenette Farms. So if you are interested in joining us in our work this fall, please do email me at jennie@lionheartfarm.org. I will schedule a one-on-one follow-up phone call to answer any specific questions you might have and to kind of talk through the opportunity with you or your loved one or both of you together. And as we are really getting started in our journey with Lionheart, we are always looking to expand our outreach and our connection to community partners. So if you or someone you know might offer a helpful partnership, please do get in touch. That also goes for anyone who might be interested in lending your support or area of expertise to this project. So please reach out. And another piece to just look forward to is that our lionheartfarm.org website will be launching officially in just a few weeks on October 1st. So there'll be a lot more information there and ways to connect and follow our newsletters that we are sending out. So please stay tuned. And I really appreciate each of you for being here, for being interested. Like I said, we are really early on in our journey, and I really hope that each of you stays with us in our journey and kind of follows us along the way. We're getting started and we are really excited for what's to come. So thank you all so much. And I think for now, I will probably just stop sharing the screen and go back